Emotion is a double-edged sword. It can fuel ambition but also betray strategy. The Machiavellian strategist sees open feeling as the first betrayal, revealing what calculated reason would conceal. As Machiavelli observed, most men judge more by their eyes than by their hands. Everyone can see how you appear, but few can feel your true motives. Thus, every flash of anger or tremor of fear paints a map of your mind for others. By contrast, concealment breeds power. Those who hide their feelings remain unreadable and untouchable. In this way, mastery of emotion is not denial of feeling but its discipline and direction. Like the prince who must appear to be virtuous, yet be ready to act otherwise, the strategist turns inner fire into outer command, making silence and composure weapons of influence. The cost of reaction. Reacting in anger or fear immediately surrenders the center of power. Every emotional outburst hands the reins to the provocateur. Once the strategist responds, he is no longer leading but being led. Sun Tzu warns that a ruler may not move his army out of anger. The general may not do battle out of wrath. Anger is a brief madness that can destroy kingdoms. Prudent commanders act calmly and only when necessary. In practical terms, visible rage or panic exposes weaknesses, our triggers, and invites attack. Every insult or crisis becomes a test of self-control. If the strategist remains unmoved, the attacker loses their weapon. Conversely, a cry of fear or a fit of rage signals exactly where to strike. Machiavelli notes that men quickly forget the death of a father but never the loss of their property. Meaning external losses wound people more deeply than hidden grief. By remaining silent and composed, the strategist turns the tables. Others see their own aggression reflected back, and their confidence falters. In this silence lies the space of power. As Marcus Aurelius reminds us, things have no hold on the soul. Disturbance comes only from within, from our own perceptions. When emotion arises, the Machiavellian mind does not explode but observes. A brief pause severs the chain of manipulation, letting reason choose the response. In that choice lies control. Reacting emotionally loses authority and initiative. Calm restraint confuses opponents and denies them cues. As Marcus Aurelius taught, the only real disruption is internal. External events only disturb us if we allow them. The mask of composure. Composure is a crafted armor, not an absence of feeling. The strategist deliberately builds a mask so seamless that emotions never leak unless he wills it. Machiavelli counseled princes to appear humble, merciful, and upright even if they are not, because perception shapes the world. By staying calm under pressure, the ruler becomes the weather under which others live. If the prince quakes, the state trembles, but if his face is stone, the crowd steadies. The mask of composure begins with self-awareness. One must know precisely which words, gestures, or silences provoke him. These vulnerabilities are not hidden by burying them, but by understanding them deeply, then guarding them. When tension rises, the strategist deliberately slows down. He pauses before replying, breathes before acting. This delay unsettles others and buys time to gauge the situation. Observers mistake his silence for confidence or superiority, which only serves his aims. This mask is not coldness. It can include warmth or humor when needed, but each is a calculated choice, a performance for effect. A gentle smile may diffuse hostility. Measured sympathy can draw out secrets. Each expression is selected, not spontaneous. Emotion becomes theater. When adversaries rage or mock, the composed man's stillness makes them appear desperate or absurd. In denying visible reaction, he robs emotion of its fuel. As one modern commentator paraphrases Machiavelli, those who master the art of silence, master themselves, and, in time, master the world around them. In time, the mask fuses with the self. He no longer acts composed, he simply is. In every crisis, his collected calm stabilizes those around him, turning his stillness into silent authority. The currency of emotion. Emotion is the most potent currency in power, but it must be spent wisely. Every display of feeling is an investment with a cost. The Machiavellian strategist treats his anger, fear, and compassion like gold. He invests them only where they yield the greatest return. As Machiavelli taught, a prince who relies on love alone is vulnerable. Men have less scruple in offending one who is beloved than one who is feared. Love binds by fragile obligation, broken at the first advantage, but fear preserves you by a dread of punishment. Thus the strategist shows affection or approval sparingly, when loyalty or effort is to be bought, and withholds reaction to flattery. Anger is triggered only when it will intimidate, not when it satisfies wounded pride. Compassion is shown only to disarm, not out of charity. In short, every emotion is measured, used to conquer, never to be conquered by. Emotions are investments. Only display them when the payoff outweighs the cost. Suppression is brittle. Transformation is power. One turns anger into focus, fear into vigilance, sadness into wisdom. Machiavelli praised those who be both loved and feared, but if forced to choose, it is much safer to be feared than loved. The strategist, therefore, projects only the feelings that advance his goals. A single tear or sigh on cue can become a weapon, while genuine fury lies dormant as a reminder never to be provoked. The theater of emotion. Human beings crave sincerity, but they crave emotion even more. The stage of emotion is where strategy becomes palatable to the crowd. The Machiavellian actor must master when to perform and how. He never rejects genuine feeling. Instead, he separates feeling from expression. Like a skilled thespian, he feigns hurt to gain trust, displays patience to win loyalty, or feigns anger to enforce respect, all because the audience must believe. As Machiavelli bluntly put it, a prince must sometimes be a great pretender and dissembler. One must seem to have virtues, mercy, honesty, compassion, even if one is ready to act oppositely when needed. What matters is not authentic sentiment, but effective delivery. The audience consumes the performance, not the truth behind it. When the strategist shows kindness or anger, he does so in calibrated doses. Each gesture carries weight like punctuation in a speech. He never floods the stage with emotion. He directs its flow. Anger arrives like thunder, rare, heavy, unforgettable. Praise comes like sunlight, infrequent but transformative. Overacting breaks the spell, so he reveals only what is necessary to move the scene forward. If the crowd ever doubts his sincerity, he retreats into silence, letting absence speak. The theater of emotion is exhausting for the untrained, but for the strategist it becomes instinct. By mastering this performance, he wields emotion as an extension of intellect rather than letting it interrupt reason. In effect, the strategist does not simply live his emotions, he stages them. And because people follow feelings more than logic, he who directs the drama of emotion directs the fate of others. The calm that commands. Stillness itself is a form of power. The calm individual radiates confidence without saying a word. When others are caught in chaos or rage, the unshakable presence of the composed man becomes the center of gravity. People instinctively lean on that still point, a steady friend in a storm or an unwavering superior in crisis. Sun Tzu praises this virtue in Commanders. The enlightened ruler is prudent, the good general is cautious. By refusing to yield to panic or indignation, the strategist compels opponents to doubt themselves. If an adversary shouts and he remains silent, the tirade rebounds inward. If insulted and he does not flinch, the challenger feels small. Calm is contagious. Others either emulate it or flee. In either case, the calm man wins. Calmness is not detachment or indifference. It is emotional energy transmuted into authority. The strategist feels as intensely as anyone, but he funnels that energy purposefully. Anxiety becomes alertness, anger becomes resolve, excitement becomes focus. In every situation he preserves a center within himself. When uncertainty swirls, his composure offers an anchor. This demeanor breeds respect. People instinctively project wisdom onto one who never seems shaken. As Marcus Aurelius taught, we only disturb our own peace. By mastering the self, one achieves real invincibility. Over time, the strategist's calm becomes an aura. Conversations slow to his rhythm, tempers cool at his presence. He does not compete with chaos. He conducts it. In a world of impulse, his stillness speaks louder than any outburst. Ultimately, in Machiavellian terms, it is not what you feel that matters, but what others perceive you to feel. Those who master this calm command not by force, but by the quiet magnetism of certainty. The enemy within. The greatest battlefield lies within the strategist's own mind. Every surge of anger, ache of pride, or tremor of fear is an internal rebellion that must be quelled. Machiavelli understood that a leader who cannot rule himself is unfit to rule others. Thus, self-mastery is the final conquest. The strategist maps his vulnerabilities in detail. He knows precisely which provocations can break his composure. These are not buried in denial but confronted and understood. In practice, this means separating oneself from the emotion. When anger strikes, he regards it like weather passing by, a storm he can observe without surrendering control. By treating impulses as external forces rather than core identity, the strategist gains perspective and choice. Guarding against this inner enemy requires discipline and routine. Fatigue or distraction are its greatest allies, so the strategist preserves focus through rituals. Solitary reflection, deliberate breathing, moments of stillness. He neither represses nor indulges emotion. He transforms it. Envy is studied until it becomes motivation, rage until it becomes resolve, sorrow until it becomes compassion. In conflict, he resists the impulse to strike back immediately. Every second of restraint is a counterpunch in the mind. By the time others expect his outburst, he has already advanced his position. Their blades swing into empty air. Eventually, those who once provoked him grow uneasy. They depended on reaction to validate their control. Confronted with silence, they find no leverage. They may accuse him of coldness or pride, but their confusion is proof that the inner turmoil has been subdued. The strategist learns that control must be reaffirmed daily. Each time he chooses silence over retort or patience over bragging, he reinforces the reins of his own will. Only when the inner court of impulse and doubt is silenced can the strategist claim a power that truly belongs to him alone. The stillness of command. At the end of every great strategy lies stillness, the steady core behind every victory. The Machiavellian master does not merely control his emotions. He becomes their conductor. Each feeling is acknowledged, tamed, and stored as potential energy to be released only by his design. This is not emptiness. It is concentrated power. Fortune, Machiavelli notes, bends to those who appear constant, and nothing speaks stability like calm composure. The world begins to quiet itself in his presence. Others sense in him the unwavering purpose they lack. Conversations adapt to his pace, tempers cool at his approach. They test him and fail to read him, and in that void of understanding lies their defeat. In this final mastery, the strategist feels more deeply than ever, but the river of his emotion flows under ice. Love becomes loyalty to himself, anger becomes clarity, pain becomes wisdom. He is no longer hostage to impulse or prisoner to reaction. Rather, he is a sculptor shaping every experience into art and instrument. This is the price of power and the privilege of mastery, to remain whole while others fracture. His face is unreadable, his tone measured, his heart steady. He moves through chaos as if it were silence. He does not explain, plead, or break. In that composure, the world finds something both terrifying and magnetic, proof that true control cannot be borrowed, only earned. As silence falls, power speaks. Power begins where emotion ends.